Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So there's a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a while because I thought it was an interesting shaila, and it must come up all the time, but I've never been asked it before about a month ago. A person who was in Aninus called me up. He had been in Onein for about an hour, and he said, I've already made 2 or 3 brachos by accident while I was in Aninus. He wanted to have a drink of water, and he said a shakal, maybe he said a nashiyatza, whatever it is. So he said, do I say Baruch Sheim Kol Machsel Yolam Va'ed after every time I say a bracha in Aninus? So that was his shaila. So I had never been asked this question before, and I asked a lot of other rabbanim, and they had never been asked this question before, but it probably happens all the time, because in the halacha of life, people just say brachos all the time. So I think I've raised the question, but I don't think we've given a shir on it, right? Anyone? No? Okay. So anyway, in order to answer this question, a few things we need to know. First of all, why is it that an onein does not say brachos? So the concept of aninus, the Gemara in Zvachim Daf Kufam Rav tells us, is a din d'oraisa that there's something called an onein, that a person does not eat meiser sheni or kachim or bikurim on the day of death of a close relative. That's the concept of aninus midoraisa, and that applies not only before kvura but after kvura as well on the Yom Hamisa. However, what we call colloquially an onein is a different concept. That's what the Mishnah talks about in Maseches Brachos, that misha meso muta lefanav, that if a person still has a relative who has not yet been buried, so that's called meso muta lefanav, and such a person is patur from mitzvahs, the Mishnah tells us in Brachos Daf Yud Zayin. And Rashi explains, because he's preoccupied with the burial of his family member, and similar to a chassan who's patur from Kriya Shema on the night of his wedding. So even though the Bavli gives the impression that he's patur from mitzvahs, but not that he's usher to do mitzvahs, and if he were to choose to do mitzvahs, it would be perfectly fine, the Yerushalmi is explicit that it is usher for him to do mitzvahs. The Yerushalmi in the third paragraph Brachos says that he's not allowed to perform mitzvahs for one of 2 reasons. Either because it's just inherently disrespectful to the deceased when you have Meso Muta Lefanav that you're going to be busy doing mitzvahs, or it's going to take you away from what you should be busy with, which is taking care of the tzarchei kvura. And the Yerushalmi says nafkamina would be if there are other people that are osek with the mace to be able to take care of him. So it's not going to take you away from the tzarchei kvura, but it still might be inherently disrespectful. The Mechaber writes in Yordei Siman Shin Mem Aleph Sif Aleph that we are machmir like the Yerushalmi, that an onein is not only patur from all mitzvos, he is not allowed to perform any mitzvos, and like the more machmir version of the Yerushalmi, that even if there are other people that are osek b'tzarchei mace, he should not be doing mitzvos. So that's as far as the onein. The onein does not say brachos. That's why the onein doesn't say brachos. Now, what is the concept of Baruch Sheim Kvon Machsol Yolam Va'ed? There is a halacha in Shulchan Aruch, in Aruch Chaim Siman Reish Vav Siv Vav. Natal biyado pri la'achlo. You take a fruit in your hand to eat it. Ubirei chalav, and you said a bracha, bari priya eitz. V'nafal miyado v'nevad onimas. And then you drop it, and it lands in the mud, or it becomes gross or disgusting. Tzarich lachzor ulevarich av pi shoyim min lefanav yoser kishabir chalarishon. You're going to need to say a new bracha on any new fruit that you take in your hand, even though you may have had a whole bowl of fruits in front of you when you said that first bracha on the fruit that was in your hand. And then the Shulchan Aruch says, V'tzarech lomar, Baruch Sheim Kvon Machsol Yolam Va'ed, Al Shol Tishem Shemayim Levatala. But because you were Motz Shem Shemayim Levatala in that first bracha, you need to say Baruch Sheim Kvon Machsol Yolam Va'ed. So the question is, and what does that do? Meaning, is there any other example in all of halacha where you violate an isser, and then immediately after violating an isser, you say some magic phrase, and the isser just goes away, right? I always give the, you accidentally turn on a light on Shabbos, so you say, V'shomer v'nei Shabbos, Shabbos, right? And then it's okay? Then it's as if you didn't turn on the light, right? There's no other example in halacha where you can just say magic words, and all of a sudden, the Avera goes away. So the Aruch HaShulchan explains in Siftei Zayin and Siman Reish Vav, HaTakana shel Baruch Sheim Kol Machsol Yolam Va'ed, Al Bracha Levatala, Lo Nisba'er Hatam. He said, I don't get it. V'ulai mipnei shotzi Shem Shemayim Levatala, lefichach tzarich lekabel olav ol malchus Shemayim. Maybe because implicit in being Motzi Shem Shemayim Levatala is a lack of respect for Shem Shemayim, so you do something to demonstrate great respect for Shem Shemayim. Meaning to say, it doesn't really fix the Isser, but you're sort of making up for the failure that led to the Isser, for the failure in recognizing the Kvod Shem Shemayim, and therefore you're showing a little extra Kvod Shem Shemayim. In fact, the Mechaber writes that Al Shahotzi Shem Shemayim Vatala. That's why you're saying it. Al Shahotzi Shem. He doesn't say because you're Mesakin, and now it's not that you were Motzi Shem Shemayim Vatala, but it's because you were Motzi Shem Shemayim Vatala. That's a little bit different than the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi, which that halacha in the Shulchan Aruch is based on, the Yerushalmi is where it talks about if you have a fruit in your hand and you say the bracha and you drop it. The Yerushalmi says so that it will turn out that you weren't maskir shem shemayim levatala. The implication of the Yerushalmi is that in some way or another, this fixes the Isser. Whatever the lumdus might be, it fixes the Isser. So two ways to look at Baruch Sheim. Either that it erases the Isser, that's the mashmos of the Yerushalmi, or what the Aruch HaShulchan says, it doesn't erase the Isser, but it's sort of a way of making up for your failing in having that, in the failing that led to that Isser. There may be nafkaminas. The Chayyim writes in Klal Sif Aleph that you should say Baruch Shem Kol Machzor on that. Take it from Yad. That as soon as you say the bracha, you cannot delay. You have to say it right away. And others are not so certain that that's the case. That it needs to be said. That it needs to be said right away. It could be that it's only a midas chasidus, and therefore you could wait. In fact, the Rav Moshe Feinstein is quoted as having said that if a person is not sure if his bracha is vatala, he can wait and think about it. Did I make a mistake? Did I not make a mistake? Cheshbon out the whole Indian, and then if he comes to the conclusion that he made a mistake, then at that point you say Baruch Shem Kol Machzor on that. It could be that it depends on what Baruch Shem is meant to do. That if you assume that it actually saves you from the sort of bracha levatala, it could be that you have to do it right away in conjunction with the bracha levatala. But if it's an overall general tikkun of the midah of lack of kvod shem shemayim that you're trying to make up for, so make up for it whenever you can make up for it. Another nafkamina might be whether you need to say Dafka Baruch Shem Kol Machzor on that. Maybe you could say some other Shevach, something else nice about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if there's some sort of tikkun that this takes away the Avera, for whatever reason, maybe they were Mesakin, that only this takes away the Avera. But if it's just being Mesakin your Midos and the way you treat Shem Hashem, so it could be you're allowed to say other things as well. In fact, the Rambam writes, Ketzad, he says, Ketzad Amar Hashem, Baruch Hu Li'olam Ve'ed, O Gadol Hu Muhul Ma'od, if you say Shem Hashem levatala, so you say Baruch Hu Li'olam Ve'ed, oh Gadol Hu Muhul Ma'od, or anything like that, so that it will not be levatala. So the Rambam makes it sound like you'll have to have this phrase. It could be any phrase that expresses proper kavod for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In fact, in the Masoras Moshe, they quote from Moshe Feinstein that you can learn Torah also, because Kol Torah Kulish Moshe Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and when you learn Torah, you're showing great kavod for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if it's about just showing kavod and building up that midah of kavod Shem Shemayim, so then you got another nafkamina might be if you assume that Baruch Shem Kol Machzor that is misakin the chet and it's not a bracha levatala, so that might be the best option for a person who says a bracha by accident on a fast day. They have food in their hand, they say a bracha, it's a fast day. Right now they realize it's a fast day. So if Baruch Shem Kol Machzor that actually erases the bracha levatala, then just say Baruch Shem Kol Machzor that. But if it doesn't actually erase the bracha levatala, it's just a way of tikkun amidos or whatever. So maybe the better option to avoid bracha levatala is by taking a bite of the food. You'll violate the tainus midrabanan, but at least you will have fixed. In that way, it will certainly not be a bracha levatala. So that is point number two. So again, point number one is an Onein doesn't say brachos, and he's not even allowed to say brachos. Point number two is that in general, we do say Baruch Shem Kol Machzor, and that when we say a bracha levatala, there are two ways to understand why we say Baruch Shem Kol Machzor on that. Now the question is, when an Onein says a bracha, do we view that as a real, genuine bracha levatala or not? Is he really viewed as a lav bar chiyuva in brachos? Or, no, he's a bar chiyuva in brachos, but for whatever reason, our practice is that he does not recite a bracha. Rav Avadia in Yabia Omer Chelik Gimel or Chaim Sim Chav Zayin discusses a person who goes to the bathroom while he's in Onein, and then the Kvura happens, does he say Asher Yatzar after the Kvura? So he points to a Pischei Tshuva in Yerodei Sim Shin Memal of Sivkat Nei, who quotes from the Nesivus in the Derech HaChaim, Shem Achal Kishu Onein, V'nikbar Ameis Kodem Equal, Tzarich Levarich Birch Samazon. That if a person ate while they're in Onein, and then after the Kvura, they were still satiated from the meal that they ate, that they should bench. And the Chacham Asadim says similarly, Sha'onein Bar chiyuvahu mitzad atzmo ela shenifter mitam osik mitzvah patim in a mitzvah. He really is a bar chiyuva. He just says a patur of osik mitzvah patim in a mitzvah. Primigadim psicha koleles chelik hasheni os chavtes also discusses an onein that did a mitzvah and was motzi the rabbim yidei chavasam. He blew a shofar on Rosh Hashanah, whatever. He was motzi rabbim yidei chavasam, and he says, yeah, he's motzi rabbim yidei chavasam. Why? Because apparently he's really included in the mitzvah. He's really a bar chiyuva in some level in the mitzvah. So in fact, in the Sholem Meshiv, he says that if Sofer wrote tefillin when he was in Onein, that they're kasher at tefillin. De pshitale de mikri shapir bar kshira, because he is called a bar kshira while he's in Onein, and only someone who's kasher, who's a bar kshira, can write tefillin. That's why a woman cannot be a Sofer to write tefillin, even if she has fantastic handwriting. Right? It doesn't matter. So because she's not a bar kshira. On the other hand, the Rosh in the end of Masechus Tainus says that an onein is considered pater b'etzem. So Rav Vadia says that Rav Shlomo Kluger writes similarly in Tuv Tam V'das Tlisa Chelik Beis and Reish Vav that he quotes the Nesivus that we quoted before, and he disagrees. He says at the time of Zchiv and Birch Samazon, when he ate and he was saveya, he was pater from all mitzvahs. He's not at all included in mitzvahs. So maybe it will depend on that. That if an onein is sort of included, he just doesn't do it. So maybe when he says the bracha, it is a bracha. It's not a bracha levatala. But if he's not included at all in the mitzvah, then maybe it's a bracha levatala. It might depend on that issue. Rav Vadia brings it back to the case of the Asher Yatzar to depend on that issue as well. Now, my brother pointed out that one can argue that when you say a bracha levatala, a bracha shein tzricha, it loses the status of a bracha and it requires a Baruch Sheim. An onein is pater and even usher to make brachos, but the bracha is appropriate for what he is doing. It's an appropriate shevach. So maybe Baruch Sheim, what is Baruch Sheim there to do? It's to create a shevach because of the lack of shevach that you created by saying a bracha levatala. But maybe the chefza shel bracha is a shevach in this case, because it is not really a bracha levatala. It's not really a bracha shein tzrich. It's just a bracha he shouldn't have made, and maybe you therefore don't require a shevach. One raya might be Rav Chaim Zalman Margolios in the back of Yerodei, an onein Os Yud Gimel says that if you become an onein in the middle of a bracha, what should you do? You're smack in the middle of a bracha, and then as a person's in the middle saying the bracha, they say, "Oh, by the way, mom just died," or whatever, right? So what do you do in that situation? So the Rav Chaim Zalman Margolios says you finish the bracha. Well, why should you finish the bracha? It's Elamai. Apparently, he quotes a Birkei Yosef who asks why, but he says apparently that you do. So it must be that it is some chefza shel bracha that you have. Another raya he quotes over there is that an onein who accidentally made Havdalah on Motzei Shabbos doesn't need to repeat Havdalah after the Kvura. That the bracha works. A lot of people have the practice, if they know that somebody is very close to the end in their family, they don't open their phones until they say Havdalah. Because once you say Havdalah, then they're going to be in Aninus, then it's a whole shaila about Havdalah and what to do and when to do. So they say Havdalah first, and then they know that they were Yotzei, and then they open their phones, and then they'll... Rabbi Isaac Rice told me he did that when his father, Zichron Levracha, passed away. And final point, Rabbi Kiva Eger in Orach Chaim on Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim Siman Ayin Aleph, says that a Megillah may push off, Kriyas Megillah pushes off Aninus, might push off Aninus because it's more important, so you should hear the Megillah as an Onein, but then still hear it again afterwards, since you may not have been Yotzei. So Rabbi Kiva Eger learns from that Magen Avram that for anything else, you're definitely not Yotzei. So maybe a bracha made as an Onein is not a bracha. So there are arguments to go either way. Halacha l'maisa, what should one do? So I asked Rav Shechter Shlita, and he said that he thinks one does not say Baruch Shem Kol Malchus Olam Ved, but he gave a totally different reason. He said since there are Rishonim that hold that an Onein is allowed to say a bracha, it's a bit much to then say Baruch Shem Kol Malchus Olam Ved on any bracha that was said as an Onein, even though we don't paskin that an Onein is allowed to say a bracha, but considering that there are Rishonim that hold that way, that it's a bit much to then say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Ved. Now one could argue that if it erases the Isser, an Onein is not allowed to violate Los Haseh, so he's got to erase the Isser. But if it's a Tikkun, he has no responsibility to be misaking things as an Onein, and then he would not need to say it. But anyway, Morein Rav Shechter Shlita said not to say Baruch Shem Kol Malchus Olam Ved in such a case. Okay, have a great day, everybody.